Hey everybody. Please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. So I'm here for a review of SWV and Escape, the Queens of R&B, Season 1, Episode 2, Pray on It. Okay, so I did not review the first episode last week, and not simply just because I was tired from Potomac, because I did watch it later in the week, and I was just kind of like, okay, okay, this is all stuff we've either seen and read in the blogs or heard via gossip bloggers and all that business. So to me, I was like, what the hell is this show gonna be about? But this second episode, I feel like it's worthy of my time. So I'm gonna give this show, a chance. All right. So we pick back up after episode 1 when they're at Miss Gloria's house, who is Tasha and Tamika's mother. An Escape. Let me just say this: Escape is the root of a lot of problems. Their internal issues. If I was SWV, I would go on and carry on about my business. Anyway, so the mother claims that she does stand up for Tamika and Tasha both. Okay, Tamika is pissed because she said Tasha and Rocky stole her money because they had funneled her royalty checks for about $30,000 into her husband's account. She said I would have sued. Basically, I would have sued her, and I feel like this is when being loyal to family simply because they are family is toxic, because they are harming you, and in the process of your family harming you, you feel like you shouldn't have feelings or you shouldn't feel any hostility. Of course you're angry. You have every right to be angry, Tamika. Every right. Period. Yeah, I'm just somebody watching the show, but I'm commenting on what I see, and this is what I got. So let me just say this too. While I'm talking about SWV needs to go and do their own thing. SWV, as far as I'm concerned, understands the assignment. Okay, the assignment is to make money, to hopefully have fun while you do it, but don't let nothing get in the way of the money. Okay, so Escape, y'all have a lot of unresolved issues that can stay that way. Just don't try to get money together if you're not willing to do that. That's fine. Some people, yes, do get older and be, in their 40s and still the same tensions when they're in their 20s for whatever reasons. But they also don't work together. Like y'all are trying to make fetch happen, and I'm having a hard time with it. So we pick up with the Tamika versus Tasha fight. They're still talking. Tamika, I don't think Tamika is lying. She said her mother is denying it because they were in front of the cameras and she didn't want family business out there like that. I wouldn't be surprised if Tasha had cut their mother in on the money. And, as much as we hate to believe that about people, some people are not above it. And so she is willing to let Tamika fall by the wayside. Okay? And feeling like the black sheep in the family, trust is a terrible feeling. Trust. Okay? So then we get Candy at the candy factory. I can't believe that's still his name. I get this her office business. I just wish there was another name for it. I don't know why I don't like it. I mean, literally, I have no reason not to like it. I just don't. Anyway, so she comes in there screaming for Esther, her executive assistant, to set her food up. I guess so she can have her chicken wings. Tiny and Tamika came to the meeting at the candy factory. They're supposed to be talking about Escape, possible tour, possible headline with SWV, so on and so forth. They asked Tamika where's Tasha because that's her sister. She says, well, she figures she may not have been there because of what happened the night before. So they're like, well, what happened, right? Tamika says they go back to the $30,000 issue with the royalties, and Tamika is in a confessional with tears welling up in her eyes, saying that her oldest daughter, Ocean, was in college when this happened, when they took the money, and she said she was pregnant at the time as well. I just presume that she may have had Ocean when she was, probably, early 20s or late teens, maybe, just because she's able to have another one at this point. But she said their mother said to Tamika, well, you don't know, they may have needed it. What the fuck that got to do with you stealing it? And I believe her mother said that. And then that bitch, if she needed to borrow money, should have asked for it. Okay? Now, since she knew that everybody was getting a royalty check, how come you didn't ask your sister to borrow money if they needed it? No, y'all stole it because y'all had it funneled into your husband's account on purpose. And any husband of yours that would do that to your sister, trust and believe, is no good for you, which we already saw in this episode, and we already got a taste of on R&B Divas back when that was on. Anyway, I feel bad that Tamika left the house and said she's been dealing with this stuff for years. I actually thought her daughter Ocean may have been one of their sisters, like the younger sister. I didn't realize it was her daughter at first. So Tiny and Candy agreed, as you know, because Tamika's telling the story to them at the candy factory. Tiny and Candy agreed that Tamika has been defending Tasha for years. They were like, she has blindly followed and even defended Tasha. You know, even I guess when it didn't make, you know, fiduciary sense. But nevertheless, when Tamika played that message from her mother, from that phone, that voicemail, I felt so bad for her. I felt bad. And you can tell Tasha and her mother were talking shit about her after this. Because she left that message talking about you don't have enough God in you to forgive your sister. Meanwhile, they had a back and forth scene, right? Where it's Rocky and Tasha. They're also dogging Tamika out about how they aren't thieves. And Rocky says, I don't give the enemy that kind of power. They just, you know, big believers in God and all this other business. And her mother was giving real Creflo Dollar church attendee teas, okay? All right? Doing people dirty and mistreating them, and then thinking if you say aloud one person is wrong long enough and loud enough with enough people saying it, that makes a lie true. I'm not here for it. And that's why Tamika is hurt. And this ain't the first time y'all done that shit to her. I can tell you that right now. I don't have to be in that family to know. Okay? So, the hell with y'all. I'm sorry that this happened to you, Tamika. I really am. And this is happening for a second, third and fourth time, hell, because you had to go through it. Then, you know, now it's on TV. I mean, you had to do it in front of the cameras when you were, you know, doing it. And then, now it's on TV and replaying. You had to keep going through this, and that's sad. So anyway, we get Lily and her sister Jeanette, who she says is the matriarch of the family. So we get a little insight into how Lily grew up. Lily is, of course, in SWV. She said her mother passed away when she was 22. Then her father passed away like shortly after. I'm not sure how long. I can't remember. But then she said that's why she moved to Atlanta, to be close really to her mother's grave. And I was like, wow, you know, I didn't have any idea. She said they didn't grow up with a lot. She said they didn't have much. She said she was a young girl with big dreams. And she said she wanted to be able to buy herself some things. And the one thing, she said she had hand-me-downs and stuff her whole life. The one thing that she said she always wanted was her own bed. And I just sat there like, damn. The things we take for granted. And that's not the only black person with a story like that, particularly from that era, like my mom's era and stuff like that. But that was a sobering moment. Because then you have to think, gosh, the things, or at least I had to think, wow, the things I complain about and whine about, you know, I should really be grateful. So she got pregnant at 15. She said she couldn't work full time at the age of 15. So she got 2 part-time jobs. I said, you know what? Anybody that can hustle like that was bound to be successful at some point. Not necessarily on the stage, but successful just in life. And she said her mom watched the baby at night. And she said at the time they were working on a demo with Coco and Taj. She said then they hit big with their first single. And she said the first thing she bought was a king-size mattress with her money. And that, to me, just touched my story. That story touched my heart. And I feel like because she didn't say a king-size bed frame, king-size mattress is the first thing she bought. And I think that's humbling and an important story to tell, because I know I can't speak for everybody, but I have days where I'm complaining, and, you know, God has been good. God has been good. So we get to see with Taj and Tamika. Let me tell y'all, Taj is fasting from everything. She's trying to lose weight, so on and so forth. Let me tell you something. Taj is excited, and she has a good spirit. And Taj has something that a lot of people don't have. And that is she does well on reality TV. Okay? And I'm not like an over SWV fan. It's not that I don't enjoy the music and still play it and bump it, but like I'm not somebody who would know, you know, where they came from and, you know, what neighborhood. I'm not that kind of fan. That's what I'm saying. But she had a reality show on TV One at one point with her family, and then I think there was another one on WeTV. And whatever it was. But she always turns out good on reality TV, and I feel like that's because she is who she is, and she really is a genuine person. Because, you know, for all Tasha's talking about believing in God and everything else, I'm watching this episode like, I don't like you. I think you underhanded. I think you nasty, and I think you'll cut people at the knees. But like, I'm looking at Taj, and I just really think this is who she is, and she's a good person with a good spirit. I just want to say that. And I like that. And her husband Eddie George is big in the NFL, and an NFL star, you know, who is not known for beating up on women. Thank goodness. And who I think is actually coaching a football team, TSU, the HBCU. So shout out to him. So Taj was like, when a mom steps in, and because she's giving her perspective on it, Tamika thinks Tamika started crying when she was talking to her. And Taj was like, when a mom steps in and essentially takes a side between two of her children, she was like, what are you telling your daughter? She was like, mom needs to really step aside and let her two grown daughters figure it out. And I agree with that. As long as the mother is being the kind of mother she is, like threatening to beat Tamika's tail and all this stuff, and clearly worried and prioritizing one's feelings over the other, it won't get solved. Because all y'all do is keep pouring salt in Tamika's wound. Okay? Truth be told, the issues between Tamika and Tasha that are erupting now is a result of parental impropriety. Okay? The favoring of one child over the other. And it's clear. That's why Tamika is so upset. Because if you don't have your family, who do you have? And that's a terrible feeling. And nobody wants to have to feel like that. But it's all seems to be on her to make it right. And it's hard to navigate after years of denying your own feelings and the reality of your family. Because you're realizing what your family taught you about loyalty. You believed it and you did it. You were loyal to your sister. And the others talked about loyalty, but didn't have it to you. And you have essentially become their scapegoat and the person they can take it out on. And that's fucked up. That is. And I'm sorry. So Tiny and Tamika meet up at Tiny's house. Okay? Both their real names, Tamika. I'm glad one of them had a nickname because I would be all kinds of confused with all these teen names going around. All right? So anyway, Tiny is trying to make drinks from a cookbook. I guess you can call it a drink book, whatever. So Candy is not a drinker. You know, Candy's not into that. So they are meeting up with all four. All four of the Xscape members are supposed to be there. So Tiny said, look, in her confessional, like, they are too grown to let these issues get in the way of money. Agreed. Now, y'all can say what y'all want about Tiny. I don't know, you know, all the details. Another one, I've, you know, been a T.I. fan, you know, until I heard that stuff. But I was one of the people that bumped his songs. Until he started, you know, participating in cultural appropriation with Iggy Azalea and all that other foolishness. But I was somebody who rocked T.S. I still rock some of T.S. hits. But anyway, agreed. But I'm saying that to say Tiny has always come across on TV as a very reasonable person. And she was basically like, do y'all want to make this money or not? Like, because I need to know. So Tasha is talking to her confessional about how Tamika hasn't apologized to her or her mom for what she did. And I'm like, for what? Apologize for what? She said she's there because of her love for Tiny. So it's already clear you have an issue with Candy just in and of itself. That might not be news to y'all, but it's news to me because I don't care. So Tiny was like, the verses was hot and we should be getting multiple deals at this point. And Candy was like, well, I think we need new management. Apparently the management company that they've had, she was like, it's been past a year and even some months. And nobody has come to us with deals for, you know, like events and shows, I guess. And she said, we just need to find maybe new management. And not only new management, but somebody they all agree on. So Tamika in her confessional says the management, you know, execs are good friends with Tasha and Rocky. I was like, that's already a problem. So they asked Tasha, you know, what she thinks. And she was like, I'm going to have to pray on it. Girl. Oh my gosh, you killing me with this fake-ish right now. Candy is like, oh, well, she can't think unless she has her brain. What was distracting me, though, for a second, Candy, was you in that confessional looking like a reject backup dancer from the No Scrubs video? Please don't do that again. Don't. Please don't. Okay? Candy said she doesn't have an opinion unless she talks to her brain Rocky. And damn it, Bravo didn't do what it always does. So they show Tasha in the confessional where the producer asked her a question. He literally, I forgot what they asked her. He literally walked over in the confessional, walks over to her ear and whispers something, not a short whisper, a long whisper of something. And the producer goes, "What did you just whisper?" And he said, "What she needs to say." I was like, "Sir, you are..." Never mind. So she says she has to pray on it. Okay, girl. Tasha says she wants to have a conversation with her sister before she does any business. So, girl, then why did you show up to a business meeting instead of calling your sister? That just sounds stupid. Oh, because you need to check, right? Because you need the Bravo check. Okay, well, then say that. And quit acting like you don't need no money by trying to be a diva. Okay? Now, anyway. So Tiny walked Tasha out because it was her house. Was it just me or was everybody walking in Tiny's house, not knocking at the door? Then all of a sudden, Tiny had manners and was walking out. Tasha, I was like, why is Candy just walking in the house? Why did Tamika just walk in the house? Why did Tasha just walk in the house? Like, they didn't tell us who's at the door, who's opening the door. She just left it open. Now, I know in Atlanta in the summertime, you do not do that. I know. I'm a native. Okay. Anyway. So, yeah. All right. So when Tasha was saying, as the older sister, I can say that she was wrong. That was a clear indicator that there are assumed power approaches and dynamics in that family. And Tamika is the scapegoat, and she's getting to a point where she is finally breaking free of that familial hold on her. I know it's hard, but you'll have to do it. You're going to be all right, girl. You're going to be all right. Tasha will do this until she is blue in the face because she is dead set on keeping the family dynamic that basically gives her a level of power because she, like so many other female singers we have seen before, has a husband who serves as her manager and then controls her. So her being able to still shit on her sister, her little sister, gives her a sense of power that she doesn't have in her day-to-day dynamics with her husband. Girl, you not fooling me. You not fooling me. Okay. Anyway, so SWV is going home. They're like, look, we practice in Atlanta. That's our central place. Lily lives there, but, Coco lives in Virginia. And Tasha's like, I live in Nashville. That's my home. And, when I'm away, it just like kind of throws things off. So Taj gets home and her son and her husband meet her. She lives in Nashville. And she's just talking about how she ended up there. She said, I followed my heart. And she was like, I don't think if I wouldn't have married him, that I would have ever ended up in Nashville. But Nashville's home. She was like, I like the quiet pace. I think she's from like New Jersey or New York. They talk like it. At least that crew, they talk like it. She said she got married and had a son. But she also had a son before that. And she said kind of the youngest one kind of wants her home. The older one was used to her traveling. I guess she must have had him when she was younger. So she said her son Eric is in his senior year of high school. He looks just like her. Year of high school, and says she doesn't want to miss that. Like, this is an important time. I'm not going to get it back. And I can appreciate that. I really do think Taj is a good person. And she comes off good on TV because she's not playing a character. I think she's the perfect person to bring people together because I don't see her jumping out of her skin at foolishness. So she was shady, though, when she asked her son if he knew who Xscape was. Like, he didn't watch their verses. Don't tell me you didn't watch your mama's verses, okay? With SWV and Xscape. She said, you don't know any of their songs? He was like, no. Taj, you are playing in our face. And your family was too. Good and damn well. Even if he didn't know none of them songs, he damn sure watched their verses and knows who they are. Not to mention you are taping a reality show. But girl, I'm going to let it go because I like you. So Coco comes home. Her mother lives with her or whatever. Her son Jalen, he's 19. He's there. Coco asked her mother if her boyfriend comes to her house. And her mother was like, excuse me, that's none of your business. And she was like, I'm about to put a word out on you. I said, oh Lord, I'm getting a Pentecostal vibe. No shade to my Pentecostal people though. But anyway, she said she was raised, Coco was saying, I was raised only one way, like Jesus only. And you're going to hell if you do anything else. She said her mother taught her how to sing. She was doing like backup vocals with Luther Vandross before he was Luther Vandross. She said she grew up in church and she would sing solos. She said her mom wouldn't let her sing R&B. She couldn't sing anything but gospel. Um, and so she said at the time she was practicing with Taj and Lily, she basically told her mother they were starting a gospel group. She said so her mother was fine with it. She said, but when we got idea, I had to tell her like, no, it's R&B, and her mother was not happy. And so I guess the producers asked when did her mother start supporting her career, and she was like, once I bought her a new car. Now I believe that, and I'm not here to judge that older woman. But I am saying when you claim that you have all these religious convictions, and then when somebody buys you something material, all of a sudden you can support their career. I'm just gonna leave it there. Anyway, so she also has two sons. I was like, they have the male gene is heavy in SWV. She said she has one son who's an emo rapper, whatever that is. I'm not really sure. It's probably a Gen Z stuff. I don't know. And he has like 1.1 million followers. She was like, basically giving him credit for what he's done on his own, and that's great. And she said, she really wanted Jalen to go to college. And apparently, when he was 12, he wanted to be a dentist. And I was like, well, when he was 12, things changed. Shit, hell, you could be a collegeist. What you want to do changes. Coco said she wants her son to do what makes him happy. And then she was like, sort of. And her and the grandma start laughing, but he seemed like he thought that was funny. So she said Jalen decided out of the blue, basically, that he wanted to be a singer. And she said she just thinks she missed out on a lot with college, so on and so forth. And I imagine that she had, I wonder if she had the same attitude towards the other son, and because it's clear to me he is, he's gay, and I wonder if maybe she's just concerned. She may not be saying it, but concerned about how marketable he'll be, and not so much how marketable he'll be, but how he may be treated as a gay person in the market, and maybe that's her hesitancy. Because if you have one son that clearly has gained 1.1 million followers, I've never heard of him, but he's clearly doing his thing. Like, you come from a musical family as it is. Like, why would that be so odd? And so a piece of me, and I'm sure, and maybe she did have this conversation with her other son. I don't want to act like I know what happened necessarily, but I think a piece of me may think that she's worried. I'm also interested, kind of confused about how the grandmother may feel about him, wearing fingernails and things like that. And she was so gung ho, because usually those people that are like Jesus only also, for some reason, seem to think gay people are never going to make it into heaven. And I'm not here for that. I wasn't raised like that. And I grew up in a very religious home. And my father had theological training and everything else. That was not something we were taught, and I don't believe that. I don't believe God is that narrow. But that's just me. But I wonder if that's why she's also encouraging college more. So he said he's been working on some songs and he wants to go to the stew. I said, please kill that lame ass slang now. You want to go to the studio, cut it out. It's corny. All right. So if he's 19 and has graduated high school, and this is just my opinion, he needs to be doing something that will prepare him for a career, be it trade school or college or working to bring in money. I'm so tired of seeing these rich kids hanging around the house on their parents' reality TV shows so that we learn who they are, even though we not checking for them. But okay, baby, I want you to go and live your dreams. I'm going to let that go. So Candy goes back to the Candy Factory. Can we get another name? It's just, anyway. So Candy's producing new music she plans to release. Okay. And I believe that Candy is an incredible songwriter and an incredible businesswoman. I would not take that from her. But a singer, not so much. Okay. She was talking about all the things she does in the confessional. She apparently helped produce some music for the piano lesson on Broadway, which, was directed by Latasha Richardson Jackson. Latanya Richardson Jackson. Sorry, there's so many Tashas and stuff in here. Who is also a Spelman alum. Shout out to the Spelman sisters. But anyway, she was doing all this stuff, but like Candy has always had a tight resume. But nevertheless, did y'all notice how Candy mentioned all those things? And her kids and her husband were like an afterthought. I'm just saying. Just saying. But granted, I can challenge myself and say, if this was a man, would I have judged him the same way? Probably not. So that's something I should probably check about myself. But girl, get it together. We're not checking for no new music from you. Anyway, so Tasha talking to Rocky on their wedding anniversary about Xscape. Okay, so Tasha and Candy. Tasha said Candy was jealous that Tasha always got the solos. That may be true. In a girl group, it is totally possible, okay? Because clearly y'all are all going after fame. Yes, people will feel a way. That's possible. I'm not here to deny that. Candy saw or felt like she was being set up for a solo career. And however, Tasha, in this one episode, darling, and I'm not saying, once again, I'm not trying to say Candy wasn't jealous. I don't know. What I am saying is that in this one singular episode, it has gone from being Tamika's fault that you can't do business with Xscape, okay, because you haven't apologized to her or your mother, to now the issue is this long history between you and Candy and how y'all have never gotten along since y'all were teenagers, being the issue why you can't do business with Xscape. Okay, and what you're doing is escaping responsibility, and we're not here for it. Okay, so her and Candy are both admitting in these side-by-side scenes, they're going back and forth, basically saying that one is jealous of the other, with their husbands supporting their sides of the story. Todd's gonna go along with Candy, and he said she's jealous that you became what she wanted to become. I mean, Candy has accomplished a lot, and I don't think Candy was necessarily going to be ever successful with the vocals, but the fact that she could pivot and figure out how to make money and has not ended up broke or bankrupt, you got to give it to Candy. I can't take that away from Candy, and I'm not. That's not also to say that I don't understand that jealousies exist in all girls groups, and that's possible, especially if Tasha was like the lead singer. Okay? So Tasha is getting ready for a solo project again that Xscape doesn't know about. See, this is the reason why you don't want to do business with Xscape. And this is what I don't like. I don't like people doing this shit and then you're doing it on a reality show with the cameras following you, and now we will have evidence of how you move. And even if it's not evidence, because, oh, this could have been edited, because you know she that kind. She going to be like, this was edited and all this business. Oh, well. All right. So anyway, Xscape is asking you, Tasha, how you feel about new management and this tour. And it looks like you want to keep them from knowing by creating chaos and confusion, as opposed to just saying, I have other deals on the table and I'm not sure yet. Okay? Trust me, I do think Tiny and Candy understand business enough to where if that was the case, they could say, okay, fine, maybe we should just kind of do like a threesome with us three, just going along as Xscape. Would you be cool with that while you do your own thing? You can join us maybe later. Like I said with Tamika first, now Candy. And the real issue is Xscape is your backup plan, Tasha. It's your backup plan if you don't get this solo career off. Okay, I don't think you going solo is something we will rush to stream. I'm just being real. I certainly won't. I can't speak for everybody. I certainly won't. And I wouldn't do it for Candy either with this so-called new music she got. I like the old hits of Xscape, and I'm not interested in y'all solo projects. I'm not. You're not a Whitney Houston. You're not a Lettucey. You're not an Anita Baker. You're not a Beyonce. You can't pull it off. Okay, you can't. Okay? Maybe with a gospel album, but I'm still not here for it. So you are essentially showing us you are the person people have said you are, Tasha. Your husband is giving you this like David Ruffin gas up. Y'all are in your 40s and you have yet to be successful solo-wise, as far as I know. There is something not right. Candy found other venues to make money and became accomplished that way. But Tasha, you still seem to want to be Beyonce. Now, you tried to be Beyonce so long at this point that the read doesn't even make sense right now, what I'm saying to you. What do I mean? When you were hot and Xscape was hot and y'all may have even been sizzling off, but nevertheless, Destiny's Child was a group singing no, 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 looking for a come up when they had 4 members, okay, before they got it down to 3 and all that drama that happened back then. And now Beyonce is the Michael Jackson of her time. So even saying you're trying to be Beyonce when Beyonce was an after development of Xscape, all right, and all y'all girl groups coming before her, you were supposed to have been a prototype for people like Beyonce. And now we saying you trying to be Beyonce. That's how far behind you are in terms of this solo career, girl. Miss me. So she's doing a gospel project. I think people can do both. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, because she sings gospel, she can't sing R&B. I ain't into that. I'm not that narrow of a Christian. I do think, however, being so dishonest with your group and business dealings is not godlike. And since you want to constantly try to hit people with your religion in the confessionals and in your conversations with your husband, that's why I'm saying this. I'm sorry, and I stand to be corrected if somehow, Tasha, this all ends up a misunderstanding, but I'm just not seeing that right now. The music producers at, the Motown Gospel or whatever, asked her to sing at the drop of a hat. Tasha, them vocals were clear and clean. Girl, you can sing. I won't take it away from you. Candy cannot, but you can sing. Okay, I gotta give it to her. The music producer asked her what this deal will mean for Xscape. And she's essentially trying to figure it out, and she has to admit she hasn't told him anything. Ooh, Tasha, I don't like the way you move. Y'all, I don't even know why y'all brought SWV in on this foolishness. They just trying to make their money and live their lives. Anyway, that's all I have. But we'll talk soon. All right, you guys be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know what you think about the show in the comments, and if there's anything else coming on that maybe y'all want me to review. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.